Hello, friends and neighbors, and welcome back to the poem of the day for today, Monday, September the 8th, 2025. Once again, I'm coming to you kind of late. It was a long day at work today, good day, but I decided to stay after and grade a number of essays, and they were pretty impressive, to be honest. Yeah, I think I have a nice grouping of students that I'm excited to see grow in their writing and their reading abilities throughout the semester. So, as cumbersome and unwieldy as grading a number of essays can be from time to time, when they show individuality and promise like that, it can help lighten the load, certainly. It can become somewhat of a joyful experience. I just hate having to slap a grade on that, putting a number to a young person's thoughts and expressions, but we must do that nonetheless. So, in the interest of keeping with our kind of taking a grouping or a theme by week, what I would like to do this week, also because it allows me to keep these videos a little bit shorter, just with the length of the poem, but also with the familiarity of these poems, it's time we've gotten to William Shakespeare. I'm now on day, I think, 54, and this is the first Shakespeare that we'll be doing. So for the next week or so, we'll be reading some of William Shakespeare's most famous sonnets. And if this is too familiar or too short for you, you might go over to my page and also listen to our read through of Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis, which part one is posted already. Part two I hope to have later in this week, and then part three early next week is the goal. So Shakespeare wrote about 154 sonnets in his lifetime, and a sonnet, as you might know, is a 14-line poem. In the case of a Shakespearean sonnet, the poem is structured in three quatrains, so three groups of four lines, although it's all just one stanza. And three quatrains and then one couplet at the end that rhymes with itself. A Shakespearean sonnet is going to differ from a Petrarchan sonnet in rhyme scheme primarily. So a Shakespearean sonnet is going to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, G, whereas a Petrarchan sonnet is often going to have an embraced quatrain, perhaps an A, A, C, D, C, and then it might go E, F, or E, F, G. And the volta then, typically in a Petrarchan sonnet, is going to occur between the 8th and the 9th line. So you have a octet and a sestet, whereas a Shakespearean sonnet might also have a volta there around after the 8th line. However, it's not as clearly marked by the rhyme scheme as a Petrarchan sonnet might be. So the sonnet that we're doing today is sonnet number 18, and I'm sure that even if you don't think you've read any Shakespeare, that you've likely heard this one before. This is Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's leaves hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of thou fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. There are so many reasons why this is one of the most popular ones. It's really a rather lovely poem that some people use in wedding vows, actually. And it begins with this rhetorical question, shall I compare thee to a summer's day, of which the answer seems to be no, but then the subsequent 13 lines answer that question by making the comparison and showing the ways in which the lover fails to live up. I'm sorry, the summer's day fails to live up to the beauty of the lover. And so the first quatrain begins to answer that question. It says that you are more lovely and more temperate than a summer's day, right? A summer's day, sometimes it's too hot, right? Sometimes the wind is a little bit too rough in the beginning of May when we're still in the throes of spring. And also, summer doesn't last. Summer is 3 months long, and then it gives way to fall, which is decay. But you, in your beauty, you last longer than this, and you don't have the rustling of the rough winds of May. We then move into the second quatrain, where we're reminded there that also summer sometimes is too hot. The sun shines too brightly. And often the gold complexion is dimmed, right? So perhaps that's referring to some sort of overcast sky, right? Or that there's times in which even the sun's setting in the evening, but your beauty doesn't set. We then move to the fair and fair sometimes declines, which is a little bit of a challenging line there. But I think it's just saying that everything of beauty has a point of diminishment, especially beauty that's associated with the natural world there. Because in the following line, it says, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. So this could be just by circumstance or by the fact that, nature is stripped of ornamentation. There's decay, there's death, there's, the way that grass can look beautiful, but with not being rained upon enough, it becomes straw-like and stiff and crunchy. But your eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of the fair thou owest. And the fair there, short for fairness, short for beauty, and you won't lose the thing that you own. Owest there, it's a little bit of a cheat to try to get that syllable in. And so there's a tendency, I think, to read it as O, but it's actually own, the fairness that you own. Nor shall death brag that you wander in his shade. This is an allusion to Psalm 23, I think, about wandering in the shadow of death. And here it's saying that your eternal sunshine, you will never wander in that. And I think the real power of this poem and kind of the braggadociousness of it comes in these last three lines. When in eternal lines to time thou growst. So you're becoming fixated or sort of grafted to time because you are being immortalized in this poem. This beautiful poem that I'm writing for you, you are now living in, you are now a part of. It's almost like a merging of art and physical beauty, like a Dorian Gray sort of situation. And because these lines are eternal, they'll outlive me, the writer, or the speaker personally. You're ensconced in them. You are embedded in them. So you, even if your body dies and fades, will live forever as the beautiful object of this poem. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see. So long as people are alive and they're still reading this poem, so long lives this. And that this doesn't have really a referent to it, but we can assume it refers specifically to the poem itself, to the sonnet. And this sonnet gives life to thee. So in my reading it just now, you're listening to it just now. We have reincarnated, reinvigorated, resurrected the lover and the lover's beauty. And I think just the promise of that and the recognition of a beauty that goes beyond the natural world and beyond comprehension is something that, like I said, is the things of kind of Valentine's Day or greeting cards or wedding vows. Not to diminish the sophistication of the poem in any way, but it's one that is so lovely that it is easy to kind of appropriate for different occasions. So I hope you enjoyed that. We'll have more sonnets later this week, and I'm off to make dinner. May peace be with you all.